Welcome back to Honey Badger 3D Print and Paint. Today, it's a Warhammer day. But before we do that, roll those credits. Right, now, as we've said before, me and James know nothing about Warhammer. I recently printed and painted a Warlord Titan. And although it nearly broke me, I actually enjoyed doing it. So, I thought, why not try and paint something similar that's very, very small. Now, I said to Martin from Under the Hot End, who is a big Warhammer gamer and painter, I said to him, I'd like to get into painting Warhammer. Because as you know, some of our models we make can take weeks to print. Now during that time, I have nothing to paint. And I do find painting relaxing. So I said to him, I'd like to get into painting Warhammer. I know nothing about it. So I chose an army. The army I chose is the Chaos Deathguard, Plague Marines. They've got diseases. Now, he helped me out with what I need to print and painting tips and stuff like that. So what I've printed out here in probably about 3 days is the start of a Warhammer army. Now, all of the little men were printed on the Mighty. The bigger characters printed on the Mighty. The tanks were printed all in one build plate on the Mega, which is why they're in Sunlu clear green resin. A couple of little bits on here were done on the Mega on the same build plate that I needed as well, which is why some of these little like backpacks are in green. Now, I've enjoyed printing this out and using Frozen's resin on the Mighty. They came out astonishingly well. As you'll see, there's a couple of characters here that were from the resin video we did, comparing the 8K and the 4K resin. I'll show you a close-up in a minute of how good some of these are. And I've started painting. To be clear, it took me 5 hours to paint this. It's 5 hours. But there was a lot of waiting time for paint to dry and that, which is why I'm starting to now batch paint them so that I have less downtime. The tanks. I think the tanks are amazing. So these two tanks are actually for that army. So they're fine. This tank I thought was really cool, but it wasn't actually for this army. So what I did was print out a load of tentacles and spikes and stuff like that and stuck them to it. Now it does fit for this army. And I've got to say, I really like this tank. I really love it. I'm really pleased with the way it's come out. Also, what I would like to say is I've used 2 different primers here. So I had to take a trip to buy a lot of Warhammer paint for this. It's like £79 worth, which stung. Most of my paints are Vallejo, Green Stuff World. I have got a fair few Warhammer paints, probably about 50, but would you know, not out of the 25 paints I needed, I had 5. So it was best part of 20 paints I had to buy. But before I bought that paint, I primed some of these in a Vallejo airbrush primer. And you'll see these ones are super glossy. I then got Citadel Chaos Black primer, and you'll see with difference with this, super matte, makes picking out the details a lot easier. I haven't tried painting one of the gloss ones yet, so I don't know how the paint's going to react differently from the matte primer to the gloss primer. So I may well just re-prime these with the Chaos Black. The detail on some of these files is astonishing. Now, when I was printing these, I had the remains of the 8K resin and the 4K resin that we were testing. So what I did was just pour them both in. So I mixed the two. There wasn't enough of either to do enough prints. So I just emptied the 2 bottles into the vat. And what you've got here is a not so light, but not so dark, but a medium grey tone. And combining the 2 resins, one you wouldn't tell unless you was to put this up against a full 8K and a full 4K resin, you'd see the colour difference. But some of the details that have come out on these, especially this guy, it is remarkable. There's a load of like tiny little tendrils and stuff on his neck and all over this, and they have come out absolutely perfect. Then saying that, the tanks that were done on the Mega, they came out astonishingly well. Now, all 3 of these tanks were just one build plate with a few of these little backpacks and stuff on it. But you'll see in the close-up that the details were astonishing, and they're only going to get better once these are primed, because once these are primed, it's going to pick out them details even better. I've got to say, this Mighty 8K, I am loving it. I love the Mega as well. If you do get the odd foul, cleaning this out is a couple of minutes. On the Mega, it's a full scale. It's a job. It's a job when you have to empty that vat out and clean it. Mainly just 1, because of the size of the vat, and 2, because of how much resin it holds. Once you're draining that through a filter back into the bottle, really does take quite a while to do, and it's not something I enjoy doing. This Mighty so far has clocked up some serious hours since we've been testing it. It's been running pretty much permanent since we received it. It's just been turning out model after model after model. I've only just had to re-level the build plate. Some, on a few of the prints, the raft was difficult to get off. And I feel like where I was scraping that off, I might have just altered the level on it. It's still printing fine, but there's 1/4 of it that it's a little bit hit and miss. So just had to re-level that. It's now printing perfect again. This is going to take me some time. I've got a few other models that I've printed off as well. I just didn't bring all of it because I've run out of small boxes to put everything into. But I am looking forward to painting all this up and having a completed army. Now, Martin from Under the Hot End has been trying to teach me about this. It's gone so-so. I understand that if anything's got a disease, I can use that, pretty much. What I am going to do is, once I have got all this painted, which to be clear is going to take me a long time, I am going to take a trip down to Martin because I want to play just one game with this army. Granted, It probably won't last very long because I have no idea what I'm doing. But I would like to just once play with this army and see it on a board with a load of terrain and stuff like that. I would just like to take some pictures, really. Probably do a video on it. Probably do a video of me getting absolutely annihilated. But we'll do a video on it anyway. So, again, this machine, if you get the chance and you need a decent sized resin machine, it's amazing, to be honest. I love this machine. It's a big enough build plate that you can print most of what you want. These tanks, although I did all these on one build plate on the Mega, I could have done them one at a time on here. They'd have fitted. It's relatively quick printing as well. It's silent when it prints. You don't hear it, and it's pretty close to where my computer is. So, you know, I would hear it if it was... Some resin printers can be a bit loud. This one, relatively quiet, pretty silent. Yeah, I really love this printer. I'm so glad we got it. I'm so glad it's in my lineup. As you know, I've gone pretty much all resin. Well, I haven't got any FDM printers, so I have gone all resin. And the reason being is because of quality like this. Quality this printer turns out, and the other Frozen, the Mega, it's astonishing. I'm so happy with them. So I'm going to carry on printing out the rest of this army. I'm going to carry on painting the rest of this army. And maybe in the future, which I don't know when, it could be quite a while, it could be quite a long time, maybe I'll do another video with this all painted so that you can see what it looks like. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you're after a printer, please have a look at this. It's amazing. We'll see you on the next video. Thanks a lot. Bye.